Hey y'all, welcome to Currently Creative, a channel about my various creative endeavors. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, and this is episode 72. My name is Susan. Couldn't think what I had to say next. You can find me on Ravelry as Legal Eagle and on Instagram as Currently Creative, the number 1. It has been not quite, just a little over a week and a half, something. But I wanted to go ahead and get an episode in towards the beginning of December so I could kind of wrap up November. And it is like just after 5 o'clock here on Tuesday. I work from home today, and I'm going to try to get this recorded before my husband gets home from work. I think this was going to be a relatively quick one. But so with that in mind, let me get going. Hearsay, not a whole lot. We had Thanksgiving in the U.S. last week. Excuse me. My sister, who lives in California, and her family were in town, and so it was great to see them. We had Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house, and my sister and her family, my brother and his family came. My daughter and her family were able to come up, so it was good to see everybody for the day. Saturday was the Carolina State game. There was not a happy ending for Carolina fans. First half was kind of second half ended up being a good game. And we kind of lost in the last bit, but disappointing, but you know, it was fun. It was great for everybody to be at the game and stuff. Our seats were a little spread. We had like 3 kind of sections of seats because we weren't able to get seats all together, but we were all close by each other where we could, you know, move around and interact. So it was a lot of fun to go, and that's something we always enjoy doing. But anyway, that's about it for Hearsay. I have not decorated for Christmas yet. As a matter of fact, Christmas is still out in the shed because I have been lazy and just have not felt like hauling it in. So probably this weekend I'll get it hauled in and get at least some minimal Christmas decorations up. So we will be going to my daughter's for Christmas. So I'm trying to decide how motivated I am to decorate for Christmas. We'll see. Anyway, so that's about it for Hearsay. We will move on, and I just realized that I forgot to grab something. So I'm going to pause. It'll be a split second for y'all, and I'll be right back. Okay, when I came back from pause, I apparently turned off the video and recorded for a couple of minutes before I realized what I had done. So anyway, I'm back. I have 2 verdicts this time. The first one is this Mill Hill kit, Witch's Cauldron. Last time I showed this to you, I had finished all the stitching, but I got all the beading done. You can see there's a couple of about 4 treasures on there. And so I will get that cut out and finished at some point. And then I have one other verdict, which may not be surprising to you if you watched my last episode. Sorry, trying to get it folded up so you can see it pretty well, but not light through it. I finished Winter Wonderland. This is a pattern designed by Dorothy Kanzi of Historische Stickmuster. I did this using their silk stitching app. It's on 36 count light mocha Zweigart linen. I did it 2/2 with called for DMC, which was just 2 reds and a white. I believe the white was 38.65. I started this on November 2nd of 2020, and I finished it on November 26th of 2024. And so there it is. So those are my 2 verdicts for this time. I say that like I have 2 verdicts every time, but that's not the case. I forgot to say at the beginning, if you're new here, welcome. I hope you like what you see. And if you're returning, I appreciate you coming back. I'm a little scattered. Like I said, I'm trying to get this done in a short amount of time, and that's probably got me running around doing too much. Or running my mouth too fast and not thinking what I'm saying. So anyway, let's move on to Court is in session. I'm not going to show you. I have not finished the litmus cow yet, but it doesn't look much different from the last time I showed it to you. I have not worked on it as much as I should. I've got to get cracking on that in the next week or so. So I'm not going to pull that out to show you this time. November stats for stitching. In November, I stitched a total of 17,731 stitches in 26 days and 74 hours. And I worked on 13 projects. I began the month with 97 whips. I started 0 projects. I finished 2 projects and ended the month with 94 whips. So let me show you what I've worked on since the last time you were here. And again, I still forgot something. Okay, first up is in this winter gnome bag by, I think, Carrie Sews For You. Yeah, Carrie Sews For You. This is Anzac by Long Dog Samplers. This is my Leap Day project that I started in February 29th of this year with the goal of finishing it before the next leap day in 2028. So my goal is 600 stitches a month on this. And I'm doing this on 40 count Lars fabric in the colorway Brain Fog. And I'm doing it with Silks For You, a multicolored green, blue, and charcoal. And then I've got like the part where you see the tree that the kangaroos are standing on is a shaded green, and I've got some other colors. I show this about every episode or every other episode, so I'm not going to pull the floss out right now in the interest of time. This time I worked over here and kind of outlined this little swirl and worked on that some. So if you're new here, as I talk, I will be posting pictures of what the pattern will look like when it's finished, and also, if it exists, a picture of what it looked like the last time you saw it compared to now. So, oh, and I forgot to, oh Lord, I am not prepared. I did not write down all my stitch count. This video is going to be a mess. That's what I get for trying to do things too fast. I realized I had not written down my stitch counts and the percentages that I usually give you. And I like to hear those, so I didn't want to skip them this time. So anyway, this is Anzac, which I showed you a minute ago. I did 630 stitches on this month, and I'm currently at 22.1%. So on track to be a quarter done by the end of February. I might even be a little more than 25%. If I get that done before February 29th of 2028, that's fine with me. I'm not like pushing to do that, but if it happens, it happens. So of course, end of the year, you know, you start looking at what you can finish and what projects you want to get off your list and stuff like that. So I pulled out an older whip. This is in this bag from Gamma's Treasures. Most of these whips are still in Q-snaps because I'm working on them. So I've pulled off like the side that will allow me to show you the whole pattern. So I apologize if some of them are kind of awkward. This is Mr. April by Charlie's Needle. I started this on April 7th, 2023. So the beginning of last year, I started this series of monthly gnomes and was going to do it for my office. And then I found the other monthly Quaker series that you've seen me finish and decided I liked that better for my office. So this is the 4th one, which I had started and kind of abandoned when I picked up the Quaker series. I'm not in a rush to finish these. I think I may try to finish them for my grandkids or something. So you may see them sporadically, but I'm not going to push to do one a month the way I was before. So this is Mr. April, but I decided it needed to be off the whip list. So I pulled this out. Like I said, it's by Charlie's Needle. And I started this April 7th, 23. I think I mentioned that. I'm doing it on 16 count Ada from Atomic Ranch in the colorway Freeze, F-R-I-E-Z-E. Like the type of artwork Freeze. And I did 1,239 more stitches on this. It is currently at 66.6%. So I'm going to try to get this one finished by the end of the year. Also in November, in this bag that I got from I think I got this from a Bestitch Me box, a fall box. This is Sir Thomas by Glendon Place. I started this on July 17th of 2022, doing it on 32 count Smoky White from Zweigart. I had to work on the turkey at Thanksgiving, so I pulled this out. And I finished all that blue feather of his breast is what I did. I did 1,299 stitches, and it is currently at 18%. So everything that I did was in that kind of bluish breastwork. So that was November. Now we're into December. This is in this bag that my friend Ann made for me. And she is Dazzling Dragonfly. She does have a shop on Etsy, which will be linked below. This was a new start on December 1st. This is Boreal Colors, charted by Stitches So Beautiful, based on artwork by Eder Jose Rosa. I'm doing it on 25 count easy grid. I started this on December 1st, 2024. All it is a partial black box right now. You can see maybe one, see that one little dot of blue? Everything else is pretty much black. This is a full coverage piece, and I did 613 stitches, and I'm currently at 0.5%. I'm doing this month in their Stitches So Beautiful challenge, where you basically post your progress each month. My personal goal is to do at least 500 stitches a week. So at the end of the month, I will have done at least 2,000 stitches on this. I have bought several Stitches So Beautiful patterns. This is the first one that I've started. And so far, I like it, with one exception. I will say one thing that I have found that I don't really care for is there are 5 colors in this chart with 1 stitch. And in a full coverage, I think that's unnecessary. I think like that one dot of blue, that is the only stitch of that color in this entire pattern of 135,000 stitches. So there are other shades of blue in the pattern. So I think it very easily could have been substituted for a color that is more stitches in the pattern. So I think that's a little ridiculous. There's also 2 other colors that one has 2 stitches and one has like 4 stitches. So unless you're talking about something like a pop of red in a white field or something like that, I think that's unnecessary. But that's my only complaint about the charting of the pattern so far. And every one that I've seen that anybody else is working on of any of her patterns, the charting, the end result from her charting looks beautiful. I just think it's unnecessary to have 1 stitch of a color unless it's just something that really needs to stand out. So anyway, next up, so these next 5 projects, I'm sort of jumping on the temperature stitching bandwagon. I'm testing it out for December to see if I want to do it in 2025. If you watch FlossTube, I'm sure you've heard about this. Several people are doing it. I think, I'm not sure exactly where it originated. I know a lot of people have attributed it to Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, but I think there's somebody else that she got the general idea from and then morphed it. And I'm not 100% sure who came up with the original idea. The version I'm doing is the modified version that Jessie Marie Does Stuff has come up with. The gist of which is, instead of having 1 project for 0 through 9, I'm doubling up. I have 5 projects. So 1 project is for numbers ending in 0, 1. 1 is for numbers ending in 2, 3, so on. Because 10 projects is a little much for me as far as trying to rotate that many. So I've limited it to 5. And I got that idea from Jessie Marie Does Stuff because that's what she's doing. It's 100. What I'm doing is I am doing like Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, and at the beginning of the week, I'm looking at the forecast for the week. Since this is not actually a record, you know, I did like a temperature bookshelf before where the color of the books were based on the high for that day. Since this is not actually a record of the temperature, I'm just using the forecasted temperature as a way to randomly choose how many stitches these projects get. So I'm looking at the beginning of the week and, you know, looking at the forecast, and then I determine from that how many stitches each project's going to get. This first week was 8 days because the first was on a Sunday, and I will do it Monday through Sunday each week because that's how my calendar works, how my brain works. I do 100 stitches for each day that number is called, so to speak. So, like, for example, the picture, one I'm getting ready, this week, the one I'm getting ready to show you needed 300 stitches, the next one needed 200, and the others all needed 100. And I will do that until each one has had 2,000 stitches, 20 slots, so to speak. So this one like got 3 marks off for this week towards its 20. I hope that makes sense. Jessie Marie and Jen the Caffeinated Crafter explain this much better than I do. But I'm trying it out for December to see if I like it, because I don't usually do that few of a stitches on a project when I pull it out. 100 is a kind of minimal for me when I work on a project. So I'm trying to see how much I like it. And then I'll decide if I'm going to do it in 2025. Excuse me, or at least start it in 2025. Anyway. So first one is in this bag from the Brass Button. This is Blue Ridge, which is a full coverage piece that I charted by crossstitch.com, based on artwork by Derek McCrae. And I did 301 stitches. I started this on May 28th of 2022. All 5 of the projects that I'm using for this month are 2022 starts that had not been touched yet this year, and I wanted to get some work on. So I did 301 stitches on this. It is currently at 9.3%. And I just kind of, since I'll be working on it theoretically next week, I left the thread hanging when I got to basically 300 stitches. That's the hard thing for me for like doing 100 stitches, is I always want to finish a thread. And so you'll see as I go through these, most of these got a little bit more than 100 stitches, which is fine. I'm not, you know, more work is, more progress is better. Next up is in this brass button bag with llamas on it. And this is Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place. I started this January 8th of 2022. And I'm doing this on 28 count Picture This Plus Nocturne. Doing this with the called for anchor floss. And I did 208 stitches. Mainly I did moon right here and a little bit more to get the total stitches. And this, let's see, this is currently at 33.7%. Next up is in another brass button bag. It's funny, I think all these are brass button bags with bee-skeps on it. Couldn't think what the word was. This is Cardinal Points, which is a pattern designed by Long Dog Samplers, but it was done in a collaboration, excuse me, with Gentle Art Threads. And so I'm using the called for Gentle Art Threads on this. I started this March 8th of 2022. It's on a 36 count white. And I did 116 stitches. Basically, I got to this corner and started outlining what will be a similar dragonfly in the corner. So, I'm currently at 17.2% on this. Okay, come here. Next up is in another brass button bag, I think. Is this brass button? This one might not be brass button. This might be, this one is Lynn X Stitch Creates. Sorry, not brass button. This is A Tisket, a Tasket by Rosewood Manor. I started this on May 1st, 2022. It's on 36 count Be Stitch Me in the Not Another Sampler colorway. And I did 118 stitches on this, which basically I did this part right here. Finished. And it is currently at 24.3%. I am doing this one. This is 36 count. I'm doing this one 2/2. On 36 count, I sometimes do 2/2. Sometimes I do 1/2. It depends on the pattern. For this one, I wanted that kind of puffy look because this pattern kind of calls for that to me instead of a more prim look. So that was it for that one. And then last but not least is in this brass button bag, the Grinch. And this is Winter White Santa from Mirabilia. I started this on January 15th of 22 on 32 count XG Designs, in the Little Dove colorway. And I did 122 stitches on this. Mainly, let me see if I can hold it and show you. Right, it was all right in here. Some more reds filling that in. And it is currently at 14.8%. So that is all of my stitching for the week. On the docket, it is the beginning of the month, and so I will start on my regular monthly goals. My 2 whip go calls this month are Moonlight Sampler from the Blue Flower and Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow by Cottage Garden Samplings. I always get that wrong. Is it Cottage Garden Samplings? I'll put it across the bottom because I always get that one wrong, which one it is. Anyway, it'll be across the bottom. The Hawk Run Hollows. Whoever does the Hawk Run Hollows. Carriage House Samplings. That's it. Not Cottage Garden. Carriage House Samplings. Anyway, so those are my 2 whip go calls for the month. I will try to get 10 hours on each of those. I also, Kingdom of Books, we'll get at least 2,000 stitches on that. I may try for a little bit more on that because I have decided I think that's going to be my focus on a finish for next year. So the more stitches I can get this month, the less I'm going to have to do next year. I will do my Anzac 600 stitches. I will try to get at least 1,000 stitches on Away We Ride. I do still plan to start the Little House Needleworks Log Cabin Christmas. I'm thinking sometime Christmas week, probably not Christmas Day because we'll be at my daughter's, but sometime Christmas week I'm going to start that. I'm still holding out hope for Winter Quaker to be released by Leela Studio, but it has not yet, so we will see. Calendar, Stitch and Thrift in Lexington, South Carolina in January. Whatever Martin Luther King weekend is. I can't remember, the 17th, something like that. And then I'll also be at the Barefoot Needle Arts Retreat the first full weekend of February. Excuse me. In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to forget anything. Stashing for retirement. I did buy several digital patterns in the past week. Of course, you know, there were Black Friday sales and all that stuff. So I'm going to post pictures up of these as I talk. I finally caved and bought Cabin in the Woods from Flossabilities. She had it on sale. I love this pattern. There are some people I think that were starting it recently, and maybe December 1st as a stitch along. I'm not joining in that yet, at least, but I decided to go ahead and buy the pattern because she had it on sale for a little bit. Satsuma Street had a sale, and so I bought several things from her in PDF. I bought both the 2023 and the 2024 ornaments. I have plenty of perforated paper and sequins and all that stuff, so I just bought the PDFs so that I can do those whenever I want to. I also bought the Winter Woods that she did as a stitch along last year. I really like that, so I finally bought that. And then I also bought the pattern for Monster House, which is the stitch along that she just finished not too long ago. No idea or no plans to start any of those anytime soon, but I just wanted to go ahead and get the patterns while they were a little bit on sale. What else? Stitches So Beautiful also had a sale Black Friday, and so I bought 2 more patterns from her. I bought the small version of Stained Glass Tree of Life, and I also bought Colorful Waves Under the Crescent Moon. Again, no immediate plans to start those, but they were like half off, so And then also I got my copy of Just Cross Stitch, the winter edition. I get the digital subscription, so I'll put a picture of the front page here. I'm not going to do a flip through or anything because I don't do those things. I'm sure there's somebody better than me to do those, but there were a couple of cute patterns in there that I might do. It wasn't the fall and the Halloween tend to be my favorites. I'm less there's definitely one full coverage pattern in there that I liked a lot, and if I remember, I will put a picture of it here with the name. I don't remember the name or who the designer was, and it was kind of smaller, so I may do that. But anyway, so that is it for digital stashing for retirement. Just a couple of physical things. I got Fabulous House number 12, the log cabin. I've been on auto ship from Stitch New England with these. And there is going to be a 13th house, a Tudor house, so I'm going to get that too. I got my November Be Stitch Me fabric, which I get the 40 count linen, and it was this month, it was $sand. Not going to fold it all the way out, but you get the gist. And then I got my November Atomic Ranch 40 count that I get through Stitch New England, and it was Nutmeg, which is a very deep, rich brown. I'm thinking I might do something pink on this. I'm thinking a monochromatic, not baby pink, not hot pink, somewhere kind of in between, like a rich pink, but light enough to be seen. I don't know. What do you think? Or maybe something turquoise on it. We'll see. It's not my normal color, but I think it could be pretty for like a monochromatic something or other. That is it. So hopefully with my little screw ups and once I stick videos together because I accidentally chopped them off, hopefully that's not more than 30 minutes or so. I'm sorry if I talk really fast, but I did want to get the quick update in. I'm going to plan to do another video somewhere around the middle of December. That will be a regular one. And then I will probably do an end of December update around the end of the month, New Year's, and quickly followed not too long after that with an actual whip parade. And when I do my whip parade, I will fill you in on my total plans for the year because I'm trying to keep my plans a little bit simpler. I know I'm going to do whip go. We're testing out the temperature stitching to see if I like that. I've got to focus on the finish. And I have one other thing that I'm thinking about, but excuse me, nothing super complicated. This year I had a little bit too many set goals each month that took me too long and kept me from getting to other things. And so I spent a large chunk of the year not touching projects that weren't on my goal list. And I don't like that. So we'll see. Anyway, so I think that's it. I hope that you all have a wonderful next couple of weeks. It is cold, cold, cold here in North Carolina. It is way too cold for December in North Carolina at the moment. It's supposed to be down to like 17 tonight, and that's too cold for North Carolina in December. Excuse me, particularly in the middle of North Carolina. I'm not even in the mountains. I'm in the middle of North Carolina. So, but I hope you're all doing well and enjoying whatever holiday celebrations you do in December, if any. And I will see y'all in a couple weeks. Bye, y'all.